How to shut down a computer instantly, 1 to 5 seconds, without using a physical switch/socket? Is there any command, program via which I may shut down my system instantly, 1 to 5 seconds? Update, 2015. Thank you to those who have suggested to turn off using the power socket, D. Update, 2016. A technophile suggested that I should add some information to the question describing nature of the problem, mainly which scenario was I trying to solve. Here is the scenario for which this question was asked some years ago. We were building a system to be deployed in public spaces like airports, hotels, etc. People can use that system for internet surfing, checking their email or even bookings etc. using their credit cards. System built was making sure that a second user can in no way get information, email, credit cards, of the previous user of that system even if keyloggers kind of software somehow get installed. How was the system making sure of it? Well, details cannot be shared because that's not public info. But we developed a way to always have fresh operating system, as if it was newly installed, for a new user of the system. Only problem was that we had to shut down the machine and bring it up again as soon as first user leaves the machine. And I wanted that shutdown to be instantly fast, that's why the question, and the next boot up to be very fast too, for which I researched and tried large number of Linux distributions from damn small Linux to Slackware to Debian etc. but that's a separate story.
You can power off the machine immediately without syncing disks by writing oda/proc/scissor trigger as root, or as any user with write permissions on that file. As a shell script it would look something like. There is a sysctl option about sysrook, but option only affects triggering by keyboard. If you would like to restart immediately instead of powering off, you can simply instead of O, but keep in mind that while scissor trigger is the fastest way to shut down, there may be faster ways to restart. Board firmware, BIOS/UEFI, can take a lot of time to reinitialize hardware, so it is usually faster to use kexic to effect the restart, because the hardware remains initialized. If you're on a System D based system, loaded with System D boot, you can run. And it will boot into your current kernel without shutting down services. It will unmount writable file systems, but it will not do anything to read-only file systems. This is likely to be faster than using sysrook, since it doesn't involve a post or any other time spent in the board firmware. If you are on a non-System D system, or used a bootloader other than System D boot, you may want to use kexic more directly. You will need to find the paths to your desired initramps and kernel image. It will look something like. But in your case you will substitute those paths for the desired initramps and kernel paths. These happen to be the default ones on Arch Linux. On my system, with 128 GB of memory and 8 modules, 16 cores and 32 hardware threads, 2 BIOS, and a lot of onboard peripherals to initialize. System tool kexic, without force, takes less than a quarter as much time as rebooting with scissor trigger. As you probably know, this is not recommended in any case where you have a file system that is mounted as writable, even if you don't think you've written anything important to that file system while it was mounted. Even if you do not care about the integrity of data on that file system, shutting down or restarting like this can make booting up slower. Make sure that none of your persistent file systems are mounted as writable.
I don't suggest to do the following if you are not forced by really special reasons. It is rough, brutal, and it can be considered a close equivalent of unplugging the power cord. The correct way is, shut down H now, with sudo before when needed. Maybe I should say the lawful way, See below or better TL, drive. Some words more, aka the story, chapter 1. In the beginning was the init and it will be till the very end. The whole Linux depends from the loving care of init, 1, 2. Nonetheless, and not without a certain amount of ungratefulness, there was a time in which the good Lord root user can betray this love and suddenly kill init with an incontrovertible, -9, order. The Book of Etiquette prescribes for counts, dukes and marquises users to invoke before a sudo. Then some wizards made a charm to protect init, from the book of man to init. The only signals that can be sent to process ID 1, the init process, are those for which init has explicitly installed signal handlers. This is done to assure the system is not brought down accidentally. Our spies report, U1, that init will handle 1 hup 6 of 11 seg 15 term 30 power 2 int 10 user 1 14 orm 17 chld 32. So the good Lord root user learned the news and changed the command in kilobr1 or terp1 that usually generate a kernel panic and a core dump. It works because init is the first process to run and takes the PID number 1, 2b. This is unsafe, unwise, and you feel it is heralded bad omen and a curse, but if you cannot materially put the hands on and unplug it. The curse, it will not write on the log, it will not kill all the processes and amp, wait for their ending, it will not write on the HDD properly updating the inodes, neither will it unmount the file systems, don't even mind it will save the options of the graphical windows and the shell histories, and many other beyond our imagination. As we said, a close equivalent of unplugging the power cord, or the battery of a laptop. The correct way. Non nobis, domine, non nobis, sed nomini tuo de gloriam, Templar Knight's motto. The lawful, correct, way is to use shutdown 3. Shutdown arranges for the system to be brought down in a safe way. All logged in users are notified that the system is going down and. But with H now, they will have no enough time to do so much. Some words more, aka the story, chapter 2. Once upon a time some logic steps fell from the sky over the Unix people. Once system processes have been killed and file systems have been unmounted, the system halts/powers off or reboots automatically. This is done using the halt or reboot command, which syncs changes to disks and then performs the actual halt/power off or reboot. 4. Indeed, nowadays, we do not trust any more in the existence of the 3 Moirai 5 of the Linux world, reboot, power off and halt 6, the modern science of LSL $, which power off halt reboot, and the one of man reboot, spreads new light on this dark age and reveal us that it exists only one true command that parses all their options so that we are finally free to ask for actions contradicting their commands' names. Halt P, or reboot P, for power off, shutdown R, for reboot. Now that all seem to be clear and cozy for all, rumors claim, 7, that in the underworld of systemd toolset, 8, a revolution was performed leaving unaware the whole overworld. Thanks to an army of backwards compatibility shims, we didn't notice at all that reboot, power off, halt, 6, and even telnet, 9, and shutdown, 3, are all already bounded to the new king system tool, 10. Please listen the whole story from the original voice of Jdb the Bard, 9, because I have no more breath. If you are a followers of the Ubuntu cult, you may still remain aware for a while of all those claims. 11. The Middle Earth of Halt F, init, telnet, system tool. Searching for solution faster than the correct one, but likewise wise. That you are under systemd or not, you should be able to stop the computer without invoking all the correct shutdown procedures, and so more fast. Halt F, specifying the option F. Note that you need F to avoid the shutdown procedure, with the above command, with sudo power off F, or maybe even with sudo reboot FH. Indeed, we can read from man reboot and equivalents about the need to specify the option F to avoid to call the shutdown. When called with force or when in run level 0 or 6, this tool invokes the reboot to system call itself, with reboot command argument passed, and directly reboots the system. Otherwise, this simply invokes the shutdown 8 tool with the appropriate arguments without passing reboot command argument. F. Force does not invoke shutdown 8 and instead performs the actual action you would expect from the name. Moreover, you can use tellinit, to be, or init directly. To tell init to change run level. But if so, why do not kill it directly? Under System D you can use the unwise double option, force. Reading from the System Tool Manual, 10. F. Force. When used with enable, overwrite any existing conflicting symlinks. When used with halt, power off, reboot or kexic, execute the selected operation without shutting down all units. However, all processes will be killed forcibly and all file systems are unmounted or remounted read-only. This is hence a drastic but relatively safe option to request an immediate reboot. If force is specified twice for these operations, they will be executed immediately without terminating any processes or unmounting any file systems. Warning: specifying force twice with any of these operations might result in data loss. PS and GT, take inspiration about variants from the tale of the Bard, 7.
You've got to use the magic scissor key combination race up. Repeat after me, raising elephants is so utterly boring.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.